Investing should be easy, right? For most people, though, the process of investing can be daunting. And savvy investing? Impossible. Here at Alliant Retirement and Investment Services, we don't think it should be that way. So we asked two of our financial consultants to share their advice with you so you can spend your time enjoying your life, career, and family. With over a decade of experience in wealth management and a career as a Wall Street analyst, Christian Chapluha helps clients think through their investment strategy and work towards achieving their goals.
I believe success in investment management centers around knowledge and confidence. Using history and math, we develop an investment plan to help our clients pursue their goals while managing risk.
With more than 20 years of experience in the financial services industry, Tom Davia wants investors to know the importance of having and updating a comprehensive wealth management plan.
My approach is very matter of fact. I'm never pushy or high pressure. My goal is to educate each person and show them how each piece of the investment plan will benefit them.
Christian and Tom are here to walk us through the fundamentals of investing so we can make informed and better decisions with our money and what we need to do to prepare for the road ahead. Hi there, I'm Brooke Jakey. I'm not only the producer of this podcast, I work full-time, I'm a mom and a wife and a daughter of two retired parents. I think a lot about planning for my family's future and making sure my parents will be set as they get older. I'm happy to be here with our experts and hosts, Christian and Tom, to ask the questions I think a lot of us have. Hello, and welcome back to Invest Savvy, advice you need to know. In our last two episodes, we discussed how to choose a financial advisor, and now it's time to prepare for that first meeting. We'll ask our hosts to give their advice of the day with the question, what should I get out of that first meeting? We'll hear from them later in the episode with their answers. Today, we're going to ask the 5 W questions: who, what, where, when, and why, and apply them to that initial meeting with your chosen financial consultant. How much do I need to share with them? How long is the process? Along the way, we hope to get you on the right track to a good relationship with your trusted financial advisor. Tom, I'm going to start with who. Who should be in the meeting?
Yes, Brooke, let's talk about who's on first. With your first meeting with a financial advisor, you really want to bring your significant other. Anybody who's involved in the household discussions on finances and has a perspective on their thoughts and needs through the entire financial planning process. That being said, we also want to concentrate on the other who's. They won't be in the room for the meeting, but you'll want to have their information handy, as they're going to be an important aspect of your team if you're working with them. Those other who's may be an estate planning attorney, a tax preparer, or beneficiaries. So not only are we talking about beneficiaries, spouses, children, but there's also something that we gather information on called a trusted person contact. Now, the trusted person contact is somebody who would be listed on your account, not necessarily for account information, but to assist us if we cannot get a hold of a client, or maybe a client starts saying things that don't make sense. We need a different perspective just to make sure we're making the right financial decisions.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Now, Christian, can you share your thoughts on what? What should I bring to the meeting? Paperwork, lists, plans, the things that would make the discussion run smoothly.
Sure. When we think about what to bring, we want to be able to get a clear picture of what the net worth of the family is, including any qualified accounts and non-qualified accounts. Those are basically retirement and taxable accounts. We also want to understand if there's any real estate involved or any business ownership. Everything is going to be included in the financial plan for both retirement and income purposes.
Okay, so to show the accounts I have, should I physically bring account statements? And how far back should I go?
It really depends on complexity and how much time people have for that initial meeting. If those statements are available and they're easily organized, then definitely bring them. The more information we have, the better. But don't let that be a stumbling block to getting started. If it's all in your head, then that's okay too. The most important thing in this process is just getting started. Have that first discussion and then develop a to-do list of action items. Like, next, I'm going to email those statements through a secure email, or we're going to drop them off at the office.
Is there a checklist you send out before that first meeting to kind of give me a guide on what I should do to prepare?
We do have a checklist, and it really helps to prompt some thoughts. I always say, keep it handy, leave it on a coffee table, a nightstand. And as you're preparing for the meeting, think of other things that maybe aren't on the checklist that you'd like to talk about, such as an art collection or real estate.
Tom, if there's real estate, if there's a vacation property, a rental property, have those numbers for the meeting as well, because we want to include those assets. For instance, real estate could be sold down the road to supplement retirement income. Additionally, all life insurance needs to be considered also.
Christian, I have an analogy for this. When my family is packing for vacation, we have a motto, which is it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
I think that would cause me trouble in my family. When packing for a vacation, I'm kind of a pack rat, but I do like the idea. Let's move on to where. In the past few years, we've all gone digital, and where has become something very different. Let's talk about where a meeting might happen and what our options are to connect.
Well, traditionally, a financial planning meeting has been done in person, in an office together to go over information. Now, that option still exists depending on your preference and location. For instance, I'm in our Chicago Touhy Avenue office and available for in-person meetings. We have other advisors on our team that talk to clients all over the United States, and they never meet in person. In this new technological world, we now have access to so many more platforms. For example, a Zoom call allows us not only to see each other, but also to share a screen and look at the documents that we're talking about, to analyze them together and show you how it fits into the financial plan. We can get a lot done over a Zoom meeting or in person as well. It's an incredibly effective way of meeting because we stay focused on the conversation and on the materials at hand when we're sharing a screen. So although this may be new to some people, we have been very effective with our meetings over a Zoom call. And I actually prefer to have the first meeting through a Zoom conference where we could maybe get to know each other a little bit, but go through some of the financial informations and documents before our first in-person meeting.
I want to jump ahead a little and ask about the security and safety of documents that I might be signing. Not in that first meeting, maybe, but in future meetings. If all of our meetings are taking place online, what's going to be the best and most secure way to get that information to you? Obviously, if we were in person, I would sign it and hand it to you. But if that's not possible, what are the options?
Well, we take digital security very seriously, both at the credit union and Alliant Retirement and Investment Services. We have a secure email server to communicate. We can use FedEx to send papers back and forth. And in the next phase, if we move forward with our investment recommendations, we're going to need some documentation and an application. A couple of options are available to do that. One is a program called DocuSign, which provides a secure link and all the applications. It's going to allow you to review them and either sign or initial electronically. So it's a pretty secure and safe way of doing business.
And one final note on where. As I mentioned, we have advisors that cover all 50 states. In fact, Christian, you talk to clients in Southern California and Washington State, but also Hawaii. How do you manage the different time zones?
That's very important. We want to make sure we're available and flexible depending on what our clients need. So I try to be as available as possible, even calls on Saturday mornings or sometimes evenings to accommodate schedules. Many of our clients are in the airline industry, and sometimes they have non-traditional shifts. Building on what Tom said, often we'll use a hybrid process where we're meeting over a Zoom call or in person or over phone call, or maybe all three. So it can take several meetings to get the financial plan done, depending on availability. We understand the importance of adapting to live in a digital world. We make sure we can meet with clients where they're able to communicate. We're open to all options to be flexible.
All right. That leads us into when.
I'm going to answer that question in two parts. First, you should decide when to meet with a financial consultant. And to me, that's any change in your life. Maybe you're changing jobs. There's a birth in the family, a marriage, a divorce, a death. Not necessarily in that order, but any life-changing events should prompt the conversation to review your finances. The second part is when we're actually meeting, how much time should you budget for these meetings? Now, a lot of times these meetings will start prompting conversations that will get a little bit bigger and expand itself, either in estate planning or taxation or investments. So usually what we say is allot an hour for the meeting and know that we generally put a buffer into our schedule. So if it goes longer, we have time for that. But generally, I think that's a fair amount to budget for yourself for these types of meetings.
Every financial consultant on our team has a link in their signature line that connects to their calendar. This gives clients the opportunity to choose an appointment in real time. You can choose 30 minutes if you have something quick that you want to go over, or maybe you were with us on a webinar and you have a question about what we talked about. If you're ready to have a longer discussion and look at your options, then we'd suggest the hour time slot to make sure that we have enough time. And the last of the W's is why.
So when you come to the planning meeting and you're meeting with me or Tom or one of the other advisors here at ARIS, have an idea of what you're trying to accomplish. What is your number one concern today? It's going to be different for everybody. For some folks, it might be, I want to move this one account. For others, it might be, I want to organize my financial life because I've wanted to do this over the last 10 years and I'm finally getting around to doing it. For somebody else, it might be, I want to know what are the best products or best investment strategies available. Everyone should determine what their why is when you come to that meeting. Don't try to boil the ocean, take on too much. Let's get some early wins in there to make things better for you. We can always build on that process.
And Christian, I would just add that a big why can be the unknowns. Some things that you haven't thought about before. Maybe it's tax planning, maybe it's Roth IRA conversions, maybe it's estate planning, but inevitably something will come up in our conversation where a client will say, I didn't know that. And I know I've mentioned this before, but the I don't knows may potentially save you a good amount in taxes or improve your investment returns. For example, I had an initial meeting with a potential client who is paying Illinois state income tax on their retirement account distributions, unaware that Illinois does not collect state taxes on retirement income. They had been doing this for the past 5 years, unaware of the mistake because honestly, they haven't taken the time to talk to a professional. It's amazing what you can uncover in a 30-minute conversation.
That's great. I'm sure they were thrilled to have that uncovered. Which leads us to the advice of the day. What should I get out of this first meeting?
As a famous investor named Peter Lynch once said, know what you own and know why you own it.
A good prep for meeting with a professional. Tom, what about your advice?
The first meeting should be enjoyable. We've talked about this before, and it's not like going to the dentist. This is something that should be interactive, that we're planning together, and you benefit from. Other terms I think about for a first meeting is comfort, relief, assurance. I believe you should come out of our meeting with those kinds of feelings.
Let's do a quick recap of our W questions. Tom, can you talk us through who?
Who you want to bring to the meeting. You want to bring your significant other or somebody that would be involved in the decision-making process. But behind you, you want to also keep in mind who is preparing my taxes, who is putting my estate plan together, and who are my beneficiaries.
Christian, what do I bring to a meeting?
Bring any important paperwork that is easily accessible and have a mental snapshot of all your other assets so that we can discuss them. We can always bring in account statements later on, but getting all that information down initially, figuring out which direction we want to go is a great first step.
Tom, what are the options for where we can meet?
Of course, we like getting together in person for face-to-face meetings, but there are other options and times where maybe a Zoom meeting or over the phone could be most convenient for us to have these discussions.
I'll add that if it's helpful, we'll definitely schedule around time zones, around geography. At the end of the day, we want to make it easy for you to meet us.
Tom, back to you for a recap of when.
When you want to focus on life-changing events, whether it's a change of job, marriage, birth of a child, divorce, death, anything that would change your financial situation, you want to make sure you come in either for a checkup or to put a plan together.
And how much time should I allow?
Timing varies. We do have some clients with specific financial needs and specific goals, that tend to be a little bit shorter. If we want to go through the full financial planning process and really take a look at everything, we should probably allow for an hour for that first conversation.
All right. And Christian, why?
Go into the meeting thinking about why you're here. What is your main objective? We can start there.
So what comes next? Now that we've conquered that first meeting, it's time to start building the financial plan. In our next episode, we'll cover the key elements of that plan. What are the benefits, objectives, results? We hope you'll continue on this journey with us to build a savvy financial plan. Thank you for listening to Invest Savvy, Advice You Need to Know. To learn more about our hosts, Kristen Chupluha and Tom Davia, and the team at Alliant Retirement and Investment Services, please visit our website at ARIS.AlliantCreditUnion.com. If you have questions for our hosts, you can submit them through our website or email investment-services@AlliantCreditUnion.com. Christian Chapluha and Thomas Davia are registered representatives with, and securities and advisory services are offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor and broker-dealer. Member FINRA SIPC SIPC. Insurance products are offered through LPL or its licensed affiliates. Alliant Credit Union and Alliant Retirement and Investment Services, ARIS, are not registered as a broker-dealer or investment advisor. Registered representatives of LPL offer products and services using ARIS and may also be employees of Alliant Credit Union. These products and services are being offered through LPL or its affiliates, which are separate entities from and not affiliates of Alliant Credit Union or ARIS. Securities and insurance offered through LPL or its affiliates are not insured by NCUA or any other government agency, not credit union guaranteed, not credit union deposits or obligations, may lose value. The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. No investment strategy can guarantee a profit or protect against loss. Neither LPL Financial nor its registered representatives offer tax or legal advice. Always consult a qualified tax advisor for information as to how taxes may affect your particular situation.